I've listened to Are We Not Men, We Are DEVO for a year and a half.
And I listened to it once yesterday.
Welcome to Spin It. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Spin It. I'm James, and with me is Connor. I think he's with me.
Are we not men? Answer, we are Spin It.
We are Spin It. Oh, that's good. It's the same number of syllables as DEVO, despite being a whole other word and 2 more letters. I'm excited about this week. This is a year of discovery pick through and through.
Yeah?
I think there's a lot of potential for a really interesting score from you on this DEVO episode. It's one of those albums, DEVO's an experimental band. They're satirical, they're avant-garde, and that has produced really polarizing responses from you on this podcast in the past, but also DEVO in general, I think, probably gets a pretty polarized reaction from people. So I guess we'll see which of the polls you end up at.
How familiar are you with them? You said you discovered them this year?
I didn't discover them this year.
Oh, okay.
I am a little familiar with DEVO. I mean, Whip It.
So it's not a year discovery pick for you, it's for me.
It's for you and for the audience. This is an album that fits right into that slot of, it is probably one that you wouldn't necessarily find on your own, so here I am putting it for you to discover, not on your own. How much do you know of DEVO? I mean, is that a name that you've heard? Do you know Whip It?
Oh, I know Whip It.
Yeah, okay. Are you a Spud?
That's about it.
That's about it. Okay, not a Spud. Spud status revoked. That's what DEVO fans are. They're like potatoes. Spuds.
Oh.
So it's quite discoverable for you, too. That's exciting. How much do you know, do you think knowing the context behind this album will change how you feel about it at all? Do you know the context behind it already? How are we going into this?
I mean, no. I pretty much just listened to it.
Okay, cool. The context is crucial, I think, when you're talking about DEVO, because they're a band that's built on satire, a band that's built on social commentary and goofiness. And I think that's something you kind of have to have an understanding of going in, or this just sounds like the most unhinged sort of thing you've ever heard, perhaps. But let's contextualize it. DEVO is a band from Akron, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
Just a bunch of brothers from the Buckeye State. Yeah, wouldn't you know? DEVO started out as a family band made up of brothers Mark and Bob Mothersbaugh and Gerald and Bob Casale. And then also there was Alan Myers in there. He wasn't anybody's brother. Well, he wasn't anybody in the band's brother. I don't know if he had any siblings or not. But DEVO, it's a band built on the concept of de-evolution, right? Their belief is that mankind had peaked, hit the ceiling, hit the pinnacle, become the best that mankind could be, and as of 1973, humans as a species were just regressing and going backwards, de-evolving into a more simple, uninspired, boring, brainless, conforming lot, right? That's pretty much the sentiment. We're a species headed in the wrong direction. That's their whole shtick. Gerald Casale was actually a student at Kent State University, and he got really into creating satirical art, right? That was his whole thing. He played in a band called the Numbers Band, and meanwhile, he met keyboardist Mark Mothersbaugh while he was in a band called Flossie Bobbit.
That's a great name.
That's a wild one.
It's a top tier name.
Yeah, add it to the Hall of Name.
Oh, the Hall of Name.
Yes, we've got Pud in there. We've got Gossamer Wump in there. Steely Dan, we said, should go in there. We got a few good.
And now we have the one you said.
Flossie Bobbit.
Now we have Flossie Bobbit.
Yeah.
People probably ignore him and just go with Brushy Bobbit.
Dentist recommend.
And then lie to their dentist about it.
Brushy Bobbit twice a day, Flossie Bobbit once a day. That's what they say.
Yeah. And people claim they Flossie Bobbit, but we all know that's a lie.
They Flossie don't.
Flossie don't.
Well, with a name like Flossie Bobbit, Mark Mothersbaugh obviously has a pretty robust and eclectic sense of humor. And so that sense of humor and general weirdness leads to DEVO not being taken very seriously over the span of their career, right? They're this new wave experimental music. It's really out there. And then they dress up in these outfits. There's Booji Boy, this character where Mark Mothersbaugh just wears a baby doll head And I don't know, it's a whole thing. So the classification makes sense as like a new wave of experimental band. But honestly, they really couldn't have been much more serious from the start as far as like trying to spread their message and de-evolve, get that ideology out into the world. While Devo is still in school, in 1970, Kent State is famously the site of an infamous incident, right? Protests about the Vietnam War escalated to the point that the National Guard got called in. They opened fire and shot 4 student protesters at Kent State. Horrible situation. Devo is there. And that's what really cemented the band's ideas of society de-evolving, becoming simpler, unlivable, very much like that. And that's what inspired them to start making music and spreading their message to the world. Their first iteration was called the Sextet Devo, because there were 6 of them. They first performed at the Kent State Performing Arts Festival in 1973. And pretty shortly thereafter, they started making music videos, started doing records like a cover of Secret Agent Man. They did Jocko Homo. They kind of grew and shrank between 6 and 4 members as needed. And they did a ton of unique stage stuff, right? They performed in character, like Booji Boy. They used homemade electric drums. They did costumes and stage tricks, all sorts of stuff to make them a really captivating band. You can't look away when you start looking at Devo. You're like, what is happening? They even made a short film. It's called The Truth About De-Evolution.
Did you watch it?
I watched a good chunk of it. You can find a lot of it on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah. It's essentially like a compilation of clips and music video stand-ins and stuff. Them performing. There's characters in it. It's kind of cool to watch them run around Northern Ohio. I'd like to recognize a few locations and stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. You should watch it if you get a second. Take a minute and...
Okay, I'll take a minute. Hang on. Be right back.
Oh, well, okay.
And I'm back. That was longer than a minute.
Oh.
You lied to me.
Well, it is quite a long video.
You said take a minute.
There's a longer version even on YouTube. And the normal version, I think it's like 9 or 10 minutes long.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. Unreal. I almost recommended you watch parts of The Truth About Devolution instead of just listening to the album.
Oh, at the 10-minute 50 mark, he gets stabbed and demasked. Spoilers.
Yeah, Booji Boy gets a little stabbed.
Oh, no. Poor Booji Boy.
Yeah, brutal.
Booji Boy and Flossie whatever.
Flossie Bobbit.
That's it. Booji Boy and Flossie Bobbit.
But Booji Boy is spelled, you're not going to believe this, Booji Boy is spelled B-O-O-J-I. That's how they spell it.
Ew.
Yeah.
I do hate that.
Yeah.
Like the vibe of this, hate the spelling of Boogie.
Yeah, if that's what my name was, I'd be Games. So they do this Truth About De-Evolution. Look it up, watch it. It's a wild ride. But that film lands in the hands of none other than David Bowie. Very appropriate for their sort of vibe and style. Another high-profile avant-garde artist working kind of outside the bounds of the mainstream. David Bowie's working on getting Devo signed with Warner Music. So that's cool. He goes to war for them. They also got to act in and make the soundtrack for Neil Young's Human Highway film. In 1978, Devo puts out an EP called Be Stiff, like the letter B. Yeah. They also put out a lot of singles that became album tracks, which we'll talk about soon. So they're rearing and ready to go. Devo is going to de-evolve into their first proper studio album, and that album is Are We Not Men, We Are Devo. Question, are we not men? Answer, we are Devo. I don't know the semantics of it. But at this point, right, Devo consists of Mark Mothersbaugh on the vocals, the keyboards, a little guitar. Gerald Casale is on vocals and bass. Bob Mothersbaugh is on lead guitar, backing vocals. Bob Casale is on rhythm guitar, keys, and backing vocals. And then Alan Myers is the drummer. Then devolved it all at this point. But they've been writing and demoing tracks for more than 3 years at this point, right? They were road tested, fine-tuned. They had an audience somehow for all this stuff. More than a year before the album came out, they had actually already played every single track live and even self-released a couple of the songs. So this album, I mean, it existed before it existed. David Bowie wanted to produce the album, but he wasn't able to, actually. He was too busy with other projects, and so instead, the band wound up with the expertise of Brian Eno. Now, Brian Eno was already known for his work with Bowie and the Talking Heads and Ultravox and more. Post-Devo, Brian Eno would go on to be known for his work with Peter Gabriel and Coldplay and U2. So he's a really high-profile producer. They recorded most of the album overseas in Germany on Brian Eno's own dime. They actually kind of tricked him. Whatever they said to him, they gave the impression that they were already signed to a record label. And Brian Eno said, oh, that's great. Like, awesome. I'll help fund your album then. You're backed up by a record label. Turns out they were not yet in a record deal. And so Brian Eno had to take a leap of faith. He paid for a lot of the album out of his own pocket. And he said, you know what, you'll be signed soon with this album, pay me back as soon as you can. But also it was frustrating a bit too. Like, Brian Eno's got these grand ambitions. He wants them to push their sound further and experiment more than they were already doing. The band said, no. We already like what we're doing. We're already comfortable with the songs. We just want to make cleaner versions of these demos. We don't want to change, no evolving, literally just hit record on what we play. The band would go on to say we were overtly resistant to Eno's ideas. He made up synth parts and really cool sounds for almost every part of the album, but we used them on 3 or 4 songs. They just didn't like it. But we did eventually get to remix the whole record, though. He still got to be involved a little bit. Are We Not Men, We Are Devo finally came into the world on August 28th, 1978, and it was met with critical confusion. As a matter of fact, critics weren't sure what to do with this record. Rolling Stone said, "There's not an ounce of feeling anywhere, and the only commitment is to the distancing aesthetic of the put-on. Devo lacks most of Eno's warmth and much of Bowie's flair for mechanized melodrama. For all its idiosyncrasies, the music here is utterly impersonal." That's brutal, and I don't think it's inaccurate, necessarily. But wow. The Village Voice's Robert Christgau said, "In small doses, it's as good as novelty music ever gets, and there isn't really a bad cut on this album, but it leads nowhere." Which is another thing I think I agree with, actually. But in spite of all that confusion, all that kind of distaste for the album, it went to number 78 on the Billboard 200, and it spent 7 weeks on the charts in the UK, peaking all the way up at number 12. By 2001, which is a good couple decades later, it did go gold in the US. But more importantly, and in a more immediate sense, Are We Not Men, We're Devo really helped give Devo the staying power they would need to make it all the way to their eventual commercial breakthrough with Whip It 2 years later in 1980. Is it a masterpiece? Probably not. Is it a serious record? Definitely not. But again, just a really cool piece for this year of discovery that highlights a special niche era in the evolution of new wave alt-rock. There aren't many albums like this with a legacy like this in the world. It's gone down as a classic, maybe a culty classic. Rolling Stone put it as high as number 252 on their 2020 list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. And I don't know if that's a surprising fact to you, but that's a surprising fact to me.
It's pretty surprising.
Only 251 albums are better than this as of 2020.
Well, maybe another 500 since 2020 have beat it.
Maybe, it's possible. It's in our first 252, so that counts for something. So they put out this album, they do all that stuff. 2 years in a studio album later, the band hit it big with record number 3, Freedom of Choice. That's where Whip It lives, and Girl You Want, and a few others. Devo started appearing on TV, like American Bandstand and Fridays and all kinds of other stuff. Their live appearances got even bigger, even more theatrical. They did more movie soundtracks like Slaughterhouse Rock. They did take a long hiatus from 1991 to 1996, but it wasn't like a hard hiatus. They still kind of soft worked on a few projects. And they went pretty strong from 1996 until the end. I mean, singles, records, they were still putting them out until members of the band and former members started to pass away. Alan Myers had left the band a while previously, but he passed away from cancer in 2013. Bob Casale died from heart failure a year later in 2014. They still toured, though, with a greatest hits kind of show, and to this day, they make festival appearances. They did a Tiny Desk concert that I watched the other day, too, which is, it's almost bizarre to see them not so bizarre in that. But, you know, Devo toured briefly in 2024. They appeared on Saturday Night Live in February of this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, still being relevant, still being Devo, still de-evolving. Over the years, Devo has put out a total of 9 studio albums, 10 EPs, and 10 live albums, and they made a computer game on CD-ROM, which is rare.
Yeah, the Mixtaper was sad you knew about that one.
Yeah. Well, we've had computer games before, right? Like Lil Nas X's Twerk Hero.
Yep.
And the fake one that you lied about Steely Dan doing, Space Galactic Battle or something. That was one where you made up the name of a game and didn't even come up with what the gameplay would be like. Brutal. Or the Mixtaper did, sorry.
Yeah, how dare you? I would never do that to you.
No, of course not. So Devo, awards and accolades, they've been nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 3 times since 2018. They have not made it in there yet, but they were the winners of the first Moog Innovator Award in 2010. Their video album, We're All Devo, was nominated for a Grammy at the 27th Grammy Awards, and they just generally have become a very notable band for the work they did to push the envelope, do something really different, and kind of make it work, regardless of the odds that may or may not have been stacked against them. So there you have it. That's what I've got about Devo. That's a little context for this wacky album. album in the zany, satirical, artsy, strange band. Now it's time for the Mixtaper to come and confuse us even more with all kinds of other facts and spins. Truth or lie? Wonder what he's cooked up this week.
Hey, it's me, the Mixtaper.
Hey, Mixtaper. How you feeling? Are you feeling like de-evolving tonight?
Yeah, you can call me Flossy Taper this episode.
Flossy Taper. Wow.
It's my de-evolved name.
Whatever you say.
Got an interesting round of factor spin for you. I don't know which one to start with. So it's been a while. I'm going to let you pick 1 through 4.
Oh, no. I'll tell you what. Since de-evolving is all about going backwards, I think we should make this a 4, 3, 2, 1.
Up first, they were part of Dev 2.0.
Dev 2.0 instead of Dev-O?
Yeah.
Would that make them Dev 1.0 now?
One could argue that.
Whoa. What on earth is Dev 2.0?
Dev 2.0 is a pop quintet.
Oh, what's their thing?
They're filled with child actors who sing, dance, and mime playing instruments along to songs recorded by members of Devo.
Like a Kids Bop Devo.
Yeah, but created by Walt Disney. Created by Disney.
What? Hold on. Walt Disney?
Well, not Walt Disney himself, just by Disney.
Yeah, he was a little bit gone by that time. When do they make this? When does Disney decide we need a second Devo?
2005.
At the height of their popularity. Certainly. And why do they do this? What's their rationale? Who's the audience for Dev 2.0? It's not kids.
Kids. I mean, it was for Disney.
No way.
It was a bunch of child actors who sing, dance, and mime playing instruments along to... They did re-record some of them with different lyrics to make them not...
You'd have to.
Kids Bop style, you know, they made them...
Look, Devo's not a kid band. We're talking about Booji Boy getting stabbed and tortured. I mean, we talked about Be Stiff, their EP. We've got sloppy songs and uncontrollable urges and diddling hand. It's not going to work. Whip It. Have you seen the music video for Whip It? They whip this woman's clothes off one piece at a time. It's wild.
Yeah, and kids need to be exposed to this.
Certainly not. Certainly not. Dev 2.0 is a mistake from the beginning. How does Disney get the rights to this?
Oh, well, they worked with, I assume, Devo.
They must have.
Says that the songs were written and recorded by Devo, and then they dubbed in the footage of the 4 dancing children pretending to perform.
Wow.
So it's really just like kids lip syncing to Devo.
Yeah.
And they called it Dev 2.0.
So they just, made a video out of it?
Well, they did a whole CD and then a DVD with 9 music videos.
Literally a Kids Bop Devo. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Did it sell well? What kind of numbers did it do?
Yeah, I don't have stats on how the album did.
Huh.
But they did well enough that they got to cover the title song from the 1965 Disney movie The Monkey's Uncle for the 2006 album Disney Mania 4.
Disney Mania 4?
Yeah, which is the 4th in the Disney Mania series.
Oh, yes, of course.
Which is a series of albums with the Disney Channel Circle of Stars doing songs. And Devo 2.0 got to do one. They got to do the 1965 Disney movie title song hit, The Monkey's Uncle.
Who else is on this album with Dev 2.0? What other Disney stars are on the 4th edition?
Well, my personal favorite, Miley Cyrus.
Uh-huh.
You can tell this is 2006, performed Zippity Doo-Dah from Song of the South.
Well, so they've retired Song of the South. They still do Zippity Doo-Dah.
Yeah, but 2006, they hadn't retired Song of the South.
No. They only just redid Splash Mountain. This podcast is older than the new Splash Mountain, so...
Yeah. The Cheetah Girls is on there, doing If I Never Knew You from Pocahontas. Christina Aguilera's on there, doing a Reflection remix from Mulan.
Oh, that's cool.
Here's a crazy one. Jesse McCartney's on there, doing I'll Try from Return to Neverland.
Here's my problem.
The Jonas Brothers do Yo-Ho from Pirates of the Caribbean. Sorry, I had to say that one.
Here's my problem, and I'll admit that it's a stretch. The first person you named on this album was Miley Cyrus. No surprise.
Uh-huh.
There's absolutely a brief, momentary gag in an episode of Hannah Montana where Miley does Whip It and parodies Devo herself as a kid. So the whole thing being Disney and doing a Devo parody and mentioning Miley Cyrus in this fact at all is highly suspicious. Highly suspicious. I think Dev 2.0 is not a fact because their whole thing is de-evolution. Why would you evolve into a second version of your de-evolving band? It goes against everything Devo kind of stands for.
I considered that.
I think this is a spin.
That's a good point. This is a true fact.
This is real? What? This is real?
This is real.
Dev 2.0?
This is real.
Why would you evolve your de-evol... Oh, come on. You remember that part in Hannah Montana, right? She wears the hat, the Whippet hat.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Fun fact, they did a total of 7 Disney Mania albums,
Wow. That's maniacal.
going all the way up to 2010. But yeah, Dev 2.0, they even have their own Wikipedia page.
That's amazing.
Fun fact, one of the members of Dev 2.0, Jacqueline Emerson, later goes on to be in the Hunger Games movie as Foxface.
Whoa. I can't believe this. In 2005, there was enough demand for Kids Bop Devo? No way. This is the most ridiculous true fact we've had in a long time.
Kids Bop Devo. I was a little worried you'd actually have heard of Dev 2.0.
You putting songs like Uncontrollable Urge and Jerkin' Back and Forth on here?
And Whip It, and yep, but they redubbed some of the lyrics to make them better.
Wow. There's a Target exclusive bonus track on here, too.
Yeah, and then Disney Mania 4, The Monkey's Uncle, has Zippity Doo Dah by Miley Cyrus, and all those other things I mentioned.
Remarkable. Well, the Miley Cyrus thing was a good way to throw me off the scent, but I don't know if I would have believed this in any case.
They did, I said 7 Disney Manias, but they also had some Disney Remix Manias, a Disney Princess Mania that aren't part of the numbering system. So there's more than 7 total, just 7 numbered ones.
What I like about this Wikipedia page is that at the top of it, it says, for the proposed deepening of Scottish devolution, see Commission on Scottish Devolution. As if you were trying to find that, and you stumbled upon Kids Bop Devo instead.
For a bonus point, and no looking it up,
Okay.
there is an artist we have covered who is on the original Disney Mania. Can you name them?
The original Disney Mania?
No looking it up.
Is it an artist we've covered wholesale or an artist we've covered as part of a band? I mean, we talked about Timberlake and the Mickey Mouse Club.
It is in wholesale.
Wow. Phil Collins is a Disney legend.
Is that your guess?
Yeah, if Timberlake's off the table, then I think Phil Collins is literally a Disney legend, and he'd be high on my list of guesses.
It is not Phil Collins, and Timberlake is not off the table because all of NSYNC is on the original Disney Mania.
No way. Man.
They do When You Wish Upon a Star from Pinocchio.
Wow.
Other people on the original Disney Mania, before I guess they decided to go the Disney Child Star route, Usher,
Whoa.
Smash Mouth,
All Stars.
Hilary Duff,
She is a Disney child star, yeah.
Christina Aguilera is on that one as well. Doing Reflection from Mulan. So then on the one that
she did a
Dev
remix.
2.0's on, that's the remix, yeah, of her own, yeah. But yeah, Usher and NSYNC and Smash Mouth all being on the original Disney Mania from 2002. What a group.
The early millennium was a wild time to be alive.
It really was. I had to mute myself when you were like, well, if Justin Timberlake is off the table.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about Disney Mania.
Wild.
And enough about Dev 2.0.
I can't believe it.
Let's talk about our next fact. You said you want to just go backwards, right? So 3
Yeah.
would be
We're de-evolving.
Devo protested Mitt Romney's dog.
Mitt Romney's dog?
Yeah.
That's wild. So, for you non-American listeners, or you American listeners who just don't care, and I get that, Mitt Romney, former presidential candidate, senator from Utah, a politician. Why? Why? Tell me about his dog. What's his dog up to?
Well, I guess really they were protesting for his dog against Mitt Romney, but that wasn't as catchy of a title.
Oh, like advocating for his dog.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what situation is the dog in that it needs advocacy?
Being strapped to the roof of a car.
Whoa! The dog, hold on. Mitt Romney is strapping his dog to the roof of a car?
Yeah. For a family road trip. There wasn't room in the car.
No. Wow. No. Of course there's not room in the car.
Put the family in the car.
Yeah.
Put the dog strapped to the roof rack.
Have I heard about this? I don't know if I have or haven't, but
This is a real event. So I'm saying that Mitt Romney admitted to strapping the family dog to the roof of their car for a road trip, and DEVO, who have been longtime animal rights supporters, took that and wrote a song called "Don't Roof Rack Me, Bro."
That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they put it out to protest Mitt Romney's roof racking of his dog. Roof, like a dog says. That's funny. Was the dog okay? Like, how long was the road trip?
I don't actually know if the dog was okay or not, but the dog's name was Seamus. And the reason I know that is because they also released a video game about it.
DEVO released a video game about...
Well, there is a video game about it. I guess I don't know if DEVO created it or if they just partnered with it. I don't know exactly. They lended their song, Don't Roof Rack Me, Bro, to a game called The Crate Escape, Seamus Unleashed.
Unleashed?
And it's a game you could play.
Wow.
And you could unlock DEVO's song, Don't Roof Rack Me, Bro, inside the game using code DRRNB, Don't Roof Rack Me, Bro. That is my fact.
That is remarkable.
But is it true?
There's so much here, man. This is a packed fact. Any element of this fact would be hard enough to believe on its own.
Yeah. And I threw it all into one. Does that make it more believable or less?
When did this happen?
2012.
2012?
Uh-huh. Yeah, so after Deep 2.0.
Yeah. Like when he's running for president.
Yeah.
What? And he admitted this? He came out and said? It's not like someone accused him and he went, "Oh, I have to be honest."
I guess I don't know if he said it or like a family member told the story or whatever, but it was I'm telling you, it's a real event.
Boy, oh boy. Look, I don't know what to believe. Is Mitt Romney the sharpest crayon at the picnic? I don't know. Why would this be a thing you think of? Why, under any circumstances, would you go, "Yep, the idea that I need to execute here is to tie my dog to the top of the car"? Like, well, he doesn't fit. Time for plan B.
To be fair, telling the story is he strapped the dog's crate with the dog inside of it to the top of the car.
Much better, but not that much better.
Which is why it's, the crate escape.
Right. Okay.
And he did think enough to put a windshield on the carrier. So he wasn't just getting blasted by 75-mile-an-hour winds.
Goodness.
As he's
I don't know.
And it was a 12-hour drive, apparently.
12-hour drive with the dog on the roof.
And apparently poor Seamus got diarrhea.
Poor Seamus. Poor the car behind Mitt Romney.
But is this true?
Gosh.
I need you to lock in an answer.
Yeah, man. I don't know what to do. I think there's too much at play here. This is a spin. Something about this is not true.
Thinks this is a spin. Something about this is not true.
Something about this is not true. I don't know what it is, but something.
Unfortunately, this is a true fact.
No way.
True fact.
Oh my gosh. It feels like less of a fact about DEVO. DEVO was just kind of here for the fact about Mitt Romney and his dog.
Yeah, well, I think, DEVO was heavily involved in the game because that's how you unlock the song.
Yeah.
But apparently poor Seamus got diarrhea, and the Romneys were first alerted to this issue when Romney's son, Tag, noticed brown liquid pouring down the back window.
Yeah, that would do it. And there's really no other options.
So, the pragmatic Mitt Romney stopped at a gas station, washed the dog, the carrier, and the car, and then put the dog back in the carrier and continued on their way.
Yep.
And it was used as a political attack ad in both 2008 and 2012.
Yeah.
So there you go. That road trip was in 1983, apparently.
Yeah, I really do. I really do see the efficacy of that as an attack ad. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, look, I don't feel bad about not believing that about somebody. I do feel bad that it's true.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I don't feel bad for not believing that. That's unreal. I do think I maybe heard about it, but it's been so long. It's been so long since Mitt Romney has been relevant.
I figured you had maybe heard about the Mitt Romney part, but it was like the game and the song that I was like, ooh, he probably hasn't heard of that. And then you hadn't heard of any of it, so it was great.
We should listen to the song.
Fact number 2, since we're going in reverse order.
That's right.
They got into an on-stage brawl.
On-stage brawl, like a fist fight brawl?
Yeah.
With whom? With each other?
With their opening act, or with the act they were opening for.
Oh, what act was that?
The Dead Boys.
Okay, I actually don't know the Dead Boys. That's the name I'm not familiar with.
Well, they were opening for them and decided they wanted to turn them into the literal Dead Boys, apparently.
vicious. Well, what do they have to fight about? What's the argument here?
Cheetah Chrome, Dead Boys guitarist,
I was gonna say, is that a name?
started heckling Devo during their performance.
Heckle? Why would you heckle your opening act? Ah, man, why would you have them on as your opening act if you wanted to heckle them?
I guess because they're a wild confrontational punk band.
That would do it, yeah.
That led to an all-out on-stage fist fight.
Wow. What kind of stuff were they heckling about? What were they saying?
Just about their performance. I don't have any specifics.
Okay, so Devo's out there doing their thing.
Yep.
The Dead Boys just come out and start swinging? Like sucker punch them while they're playing? How's this?
Well, no. So the Dead Boys are heckling them, and then
Devo says, fight us?
Devo doesn't back down. They're like, no. They start mouthing back, and then back and forth until eventually things come to a brawl.
Who wins?
Devo.
The opening act is the closing act.
I'm not really sure who wins. I don't really know who wins the fight, but the crowd deemed Devo the winners. After the clash, they sided with Devo, saying that they were a group of weirdos who could throw down when needed, and they liked that about them.
Man.
That they had spines and were not just art rock robots.
No, certainly not. But what happens after this? The fight happens, Devo wins.
I think that's just it.
Do they just go backstage and the show goes on?
I don't know, but I would imagine show's over. Devo opened and then shut it down.
Open and closed.
Yeah.
That's it. Brutal. Wow. I like this. I think I believe it.
He thinks he believes it. 3 facts in a row.
I'll say it's true. I am sad that I've missed the first 2. It's looking like a loss for me this week, potentially, or 50-50, but I got to get this one right to pull it back.
So you're locking in true?
Yeah, I think this is a fact.
This is a true fact.
Oh, yeah. Big old brawl. Show's over. They went, catch these praying hands.
You are indeed one step closer to pulling it back for the 50-50. But it all comes down to fact number 1.
What is fact number 1?
Devo performed at the bat mitzvah of the future wife of Matthew Broderick. And I only phrase it that way because I don't think you know who Matthew Broderick's wife is.
That is correct. I don't.
Not to make her an object that's only popular because of Matthew Broderick, because that is not the case for any fans of Sarah Jessica Parker.
Oh.
But for James...
That is a name that I know.
Oh, you do know Sarah Jessica Parker. I figured you didn't.
I couldn't tell you anything that she's in or what she looks like.
Shame on me for assuming then.
I just know her name.
They played at Sarah Jessica Parker's bat mitzvah.
That's going to be a way better title than the bat mitzvah of the future wife of Matthew.
Yeah.
What's she in? Remind me, refresh my memory on Sarah Jessica Parker.
She's been in a lot.
Yeah, I might have seen some of it.
She made her debut into the acting world on Broadway at the age of 11 in a revival of The Innocents.
Oh, I saw that. Just kidding.
She made her first major film appearance in Footloose.
Oh.
And went on to be in other films like Hocus Pocus, Mars Attack. But her big breakout into global stardom was when she portrayed Carrie Bradshaw in the HBO comedy drama series Sex and the City.
Right. Never seen it, but that is the thing that I've heard.
Which, again, is why I figured you never had heard of
Yeah,
it.
that's correct. I've seen Footloose.
Yeah, that's fair. She was also on 3 episodes of Glee.
That doesn't do much for me.
Yeah. It's been a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Married Matthew Broderick in 1997.
That's cool.
And apparently was briefly the partner of Robert Downey Jr. before that, which I did not know.
Whoa.
Wild.
Iron Woman, now the Music Woman. So she turns, 13? Is the bat mitzvah the same as the bar mitzvah, but...
12. No,
12.
12 is the bat mitzvah.
Okay.
Women get it a year early.
Gotcha. For a minute, I thought you were going to say it was the bar mitzvah of Drake, because we talked about him doing the re-bar mitzvah.
I somehow missed out on the fact that after her age 11 revival of The Innocents first role, she went on to star in the Broadway musical Annie in 1979.
Oh.
I missed that, and I feel like that's important to say.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, if she started acting at 11, she's probably decently well known by the time she's 12. So, a high-profile get for her celebration would not be out of the question. Why Devo?
I don't really have an answer for you, but my assumption is because she's from Nelsonville, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
And so I assume that that's how their paths crossed in some way. I don't really know, right? I don't have an answer for how they were selected. But
Yeah, how old is Sarah Jessica Parker? When does this happen?
When she was 12.
Right, but you see, in order for me to know when that was, I either need to know when she started or where she is now.
That would be 1977, because she was 11 in 1976.
Okay, so it's still like pre-Are We Not Men Devo, actually.
Yeah. So not like the world's biggest get, but also a big get.
Big get.
You know, at the same time.
And a local band makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So this is more just coincidence than, like, I don't know, a thing. It's like the same way that Ariana Grande was in that one video of NSYNC. Like,
yeah.
oh, there are two people that would go on to be famous in the same place at the same time. Who knew?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm telling you.
Again, very ironic because the bat mitzvah is all about growing up and and evolving and changing, and de-evolution is pretty incongruous with the entire like vibe of the ceremony. But interesting stuff. I am curious as to why you would have made it a spin with an actress I know so little about. Could just be the Ohio connection. You're like, oh, she's from Ohio. Maybe, I don't know. But the timing is nice. I like this. I think we've got an all-fact week.
An all-fact week for Devo.
Yeah, I'm going to say this is true.
This is for the 50-50.
Come on, 50-50. I got a gut feeling.
A spin.
Oh. Well, that's unfortunate.
But it's based on a true story.
She and Matthew Broderick never got married. Imagine.
In a way, Devo did perform at Sarah Jessica Parker's bat mitzvah.
What does...
In a way.
Was it Dev 2.0? Don't you tell me it was Dev 2.0.
Devo appeared in the 1983 episode of the teen sitcom Square Pegs, Season 1, Episode 13, Muffy's Bat Mitzvah.
Oh.
And who plays Muffy? None other than Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah, they were in her fake bat mitzvah.
Yeah.
You didn't mention that in her filmography, or I would have got this easy.
Yeah, if I'd been like, oh, she played Muffy in Season 1, Episode 13, titled Muffy's Bat Mitzvah.
I would have, well, you could have been that specific. That would have been really helpful, actually.
Yeah.
Bummer. Well, I've devolved from a winner back into a loser of Factor Spin.
This was a fun week.
Yeah.
I think this has been one of the better weeks in a long time.
You just have so many wild facts.
I mean, every week is great. Don't get me wrong. It's just, there's a lot of wild stuff about Devo that you didn't have in your notes.
It's true.
I was very excited for it.
This is a band where there's just so much. I knew there would be so much. I don't know why I didn't go fact on the first two, but you understand on the dog one. That,
Yeah.
you know. Actually, you understand on Dev 2.0 too. Both were so ridiculous.
Guess it's time for me to get out of here so I can go brushy bob it my teeth.
You can go re-evolve back into the Mixtaper, please. Revo.
Well, until next time.
Until next time, indeed.
Yeah.
There he goes. Welcome back, Connor. Let's talk about this album cover. How de-evolved is this? It's very striking.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. It's bright yellow around the edges. There's a man in a golf ball in the middle. It says, Q, Are We Not Men? Across the top. Devo down the side. It was designed and illustrated by Joe Heiner. Do you recognize this man in the golf ball?
Is the man in the golf ball in the room with us right now?
I mean, he is if you're looking at the album cover in any way. But he's not physically. Nah, he's not physically here. It'd be disingenuous to say he was in the room with us right now.
Well, I have a golf ball with this man on it, so he's physically here.
You do?
No.
I didn't think so.
I was being disingenuous.
Well, I know you don't know much about Devo. You hadn't until I just told you all of it right now. But I don't know how much you know about golf either.
Even less.
Wow. Remarkable.
I mean, before the episode started, it would have been more. But now that I know all this stuff about Devo.
You had to dump some of the stuff you knew about golf to make room.
Yeah, into the shredder.
Well, this is based on a picture of the golfer Juan Chichi Rodriguez.
He probably won a lot of golf.
Yeah, he probably did. Well, he definitely did. The label thought they were making fun of the guy. They didn't like that Devo put his picture on the cover. They said, what if he takes legal action against us? And they ran out of time to reach out and ask for his permission. So,
So they did it anyways.
no, they didn't do it anyway. They took Chichi Rodriguez and they hired someone to alter the picture and they morphed it together with a picture Mark Mothersbaugh found of the early 60s and 70s presidents blended together. So,
This guy's a mix of Chichi Rodriguez and a bunch of presidents.
yeah.
Huh.
Chichi and JFK and LBJ and Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford all wrapped up in one golf ball-centered man.
I do get a Nixon vibe from this man.
Really? He kind of gives me more of a Kennedy vibe.
In a way, this kind of makes Chi-Chi one of our presidents.
Like a Mount Rushmore of presidents on this Devo cover.
Yeah.
And Chi-Chi is among them.
Kind of elevated to honorary president status.
I know, right? Iconic. Also, ridiculous. They soon did get in touch with Rodriguez, and he said, yeah, you guys can go ahead and use my picture. Sure, I don't care. But by then, they were already in production with the blended cover. And so to stop and redo them would have cost thousands of dollars. And they said, let's just keep it.
And so kept it, they did.
They did indeed. And man, yeah, they said we were able to come out with something that, by the corporate interference and misunderstanding of the business side of Warner Brothers Records, actually unwittingly produced something far more Devo than the original image.
Yeah, but isn't like taking a bunch of people and morphing them together kind of like a form of evolving?
Yes, but it's also devolving Chi-Chi.
That's true.
Which is what they initially set out to do. It's a de-evolution of the vision.
It really feels like every de-evolution is also an evolution, depending on, how you look at it.
Yeah, it's about perspective. Interesting. That's true. Also, sadly, I have to note, Chi-Chi Rodriguez just passed away in August of 2024.
Oh.
It's possible that he listened to Spin It.
Probably didn't.
I would bet money against it, but it's not impossible. Anyway, yes, let's de-evolve into talking about this album. Up first, a little track called Uncontrollable Urge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so excited to hear what you think about whatever you interpreted this album to be. Devo makes wild music.
I interpreted it to be Devo.
Yeah.
My first note was I really like the rockin' guitar at the beginning.
Yeah.
Just this beat, the bum 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 bum. It's just a funky beat. Bum 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 bum.
Yeah. It starts out promising. Starts out pretty normal. And then they just start singing and yelling and hollering. Got an urge, got a surge, and it's out of control. Got an urge I want to purge because I'm losing control. They rhymed control with control. It's fine. It's an undefined, uncontrollable urge. They never tell you what it is, right? You're just left to infer. But there's some inferences you can make. It's just an uncontrollable urge. And all he can say is, yeah.
What do they say at around the 1:15 mark?
1:15?
The background vocals are saying something.
They might just be going, dang, 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 dang.
Dang? You think it's dang?
No, I don't think that's it. They might just be making a syllable.
I was like, dang, clang, bang. I was like, trying to figure out what it was.
Just an ang word. It's just high energy and off the wall. It's a really cool start to this album and to this band. This is the first album track anyone's ever heard of Devo.
Yeah.
I can imagine this being a hit at live shows when they played it.
It's the first I ever heard of Devo.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Well, minus Whip It and all the other times you've heard of Devo.
Whip It, yeah.
Shoot, if you were around the Mixtaper while he was prepping for this episode, you might have known Devo 2 before you knew Devo.
It's the first thing I heard that I actively knew was Devo.
Yeah.
They just do some very fun instrumental stuff, like around the 2:25 mark.
Yeah.
When they go, where there's that where it's like they're slowly drawing it across a string or something.
Yeah, it's like almost sounds like a sci-fi movie sound effect of a computer computing or something robotic.
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost like somebody was scratching a record really slow and then really fast all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's wild. And they just hang on that one chord for such a long time, it kind of drills into your brain. Really wild start to this album. And then we get into a song that you might have thought you were familiar with. I Can't Get No Satisfaction. You know Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones.
I sure do.
We've talked about it several times.
I can't get no.
Yeah. We talked about it on the Rolling Stones episode. We talked about it on the Otis Redding episode way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Because he covered it too. We're doing it again, Satisfaction. But this is a very different version.
Yeah, it is.
So the initial song, we've talked extensively. Keith Richards dreamed it up, recorded it in his sleep, and he woke up with a tape recording of the guitar hook and then 40 minutes of snoring. Devo comes onto the scene a decade later, and a half even.
And I'm surprised they didn't just say, give us the snoring part.
Honestly, they probably could have, and it would have gone fine. Give us the Keith Richards snoring tape. Yeah. Well, Devo does this version that doesn't sound a ton like the original at all. It came out of like an improvised session. They were just playing around with some songs and realized that they could loosely fit the lyrics to Satisfaction over top of it. And so they did. It's virtually unrecognizable, except for maybe some of the lyrics in the chorus. Slightly melodically similar, but there's not a lot there. It's very transformative as a cover of the song. But as different as it is, Devo's version was actually approved by Mick Jagger himself. The The Jaggeroo heard this and he went, yeah. And also the Devo music video was huge on MTV for Satisfaction. It earned them some recognition after they performed it on SNL. It's featured in Martin Scorsese's film Casino. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
What an unexpected journey for this little dinky Satisfaction cover. What do you think? How's it compare? I mean, what'd you like better about this version? Anything?
I liked the funk.
It is funkier than the normal Satisfaction, yes.
This is a really good example of taking a song that is well known and doing it so completely differently, it doesn't feel like you're imitating.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you hear a cover of a song, and you're like, oh yeah, this is a cover. You are kind of building upon something that's already exists or putting your own little unique flair on something that already exists.
Yeah, we talked about that with Crazy Love.
Yeah, this is almost like its own unique song that just happens to share lyrics.
Yes, that is very much how it feels. Lyrics and general structure are the same, but everything about it is different. AllMusic Steve Huey said that Devo reworks the original's Alienation into a freakout that is nearly unrecognizable. I think that's right. And in the same way they did yeah, 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 yeah in the last one, they go into baby, 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 baby in Satisfaction. It's intriguing. It's kind of a cool vibe.
Very cool vibe.
Yeah. Then we get into kind of another song that's more experimental and not in a normal time signature, Praying Hands. You got to kind of count it out funny.
What time signature?
Great question. How many beats are in that riff? 5? 6? I guess it's a 6.
I mean, really, it can be whatever you want, depending on how you choose to break up the measures.
Yeah, it's a weird time signature.
That's the joy, is you can make the most atrocious sheet music as you want and put it in whatever time, just the breakup of what notes are in what measure and the flow of the song is just atrocious.
It's so true. Praying Hands is one that kind of the hook has 5 musical beats and then a rest at the end of it. So it kind of repeats in an odd sounding way. It's interesting. It's one of those songs that kind of describes a dance to you. Think like the Cupid Shuffle or the Cha-Cha Slide, something like the Hokey Pokey. But it's about a dance with the hands, a praying hands dance. But I'm telling you, not both of the hands are praying. The lyrics to this one are very clear that one hand is not praying and the other hand is going to work.
But where does it work?
I don't know. The right hand goes to work.
What's the most devolved place?
Place?
Yeah, like that they could work. The right hand goes to work.
Well, I don't know. I was thinking if you just like literally walk it back, probably like the Fertile Triangle, like the Tigris and the Euphrates, Mesopotamia.
I do find it interesting that you got your left hand, you got your right hand.
Yeah, and I do. They're both right here.
And the right hand is working.
Yeah.
But the left hand's doing a lot of stuff.
Yes, it is.
While the right hand's working.
Yep.
It's diddling, swindling, cheating.
Yeah, it is.
You wash your hands 3 times. You got your praying hands.
But they pray for no man.
Do you wash your hands 3 times a day?
Well, the honest answer is no. I wash my hands much more than 3 times a day.
Well, that's what I was thinking, right? It's like, do what your mom and dad say, wash your hands 3 times a day. It's like, that's criminally low.
That's bad. Yeah, why would mom and dad say to do that? You better be praying if you are only washing your hands 3 times a day, because you're going to catch something. Catch these praying hands.
That right hand, I mean, with all the work that right hand's doing, pretty dirty.
Yeah. I'm telling you, just the way that he sings is pretty much the same across all these songs. Like, there's a very Devo vocal style. Mm-hmm. And it's that. It's Praying Hands and Uncontrollable Urge and everywhere on this album and on most of Devo's tracks, anytime you hear them, it's just going to sound pretty much the same vocally. So it's cool that the instruments are able to do so many unique things and so many weird and unexpected and atypical things to kind of keep you engaged. What did you think about Space Junk?
More like space funk.
Ooh, nice. It's about a girl who gets hit and killed by junk from space. Something falls from the sky, strikes this girl. I never touched her, she never saw it, and she was hit by space junk, smashed by space junk, killed by space junk. Pretty rough way to go. Death by UAP.
That's pretty rough.
Yeah, the unidentified aerial phenomenon will get you. Although back in these days, it was still a UFO.
And on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, said NORAD. Right, the people that track Santa. What else does NORAD do? Do they do anything besides the Santa tracker? What is that? It's a radar of some kind, right?
Yeah, it's the North American Aerospace Defense Command. Does NORAD just track Santa?
Look, that's not common knowledge. First of all, that's industry specific for you. Then there's also, it's not an acronym.
North American, I guess. Yeah,
it's an O. Yeah, O.
Aerospace. Yeah.
Not so intuitive.
Yeah, I don't know actually. I was thinking OR for North.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then AD for Aerospace Defense. And OR is like North and then AD for aerospace defense.
Well, they don't defend against Santa very well, do they?
They have a peace treaty.
Probably. Yeah, he gets a free pass to go where he needs to go.
Oh, that's funny. And it's really just, it's U.S. and Canada.
Right.
Does NORAD do anything other than track Santa? That's going to be my favorite thing about the episode. I love that.
Well, they don't advertise it. Look, if NORAD does anything else, it's not useful to the general public as far as like what I can access and do.
Let's see, what was the last thing NORAD did? According to their Wikipedia, the last update Wikipedia has about their going-ons is in 2006, they announced the Cheyenne Mountain realignment to consolidate NORAD's day-to-day operations at Peterson Air Force Base.
Well, that's purely internal. They consolidated their own internal operations in 2006, and you think this is a thing that's had any relevance beyond Santa Claus in my life?
In film and television, the NORAD Command Center located on Cheyenne Mountain, Colorado, is a setting of the 1983 film War Games. And in season 25, episode 4 of the TV series South Park, NORAD is hacked into by Mr. Mackey using late 1980s computer hardware.
I bet it's Santa related.
Oh, here. As a publicity move on the 24th of December 1955, NORAD's predecessor, the Continental Air Defense Command, CONAD, informed the press that CONAD was tracking Santa Claus's sleigh, adding that CONAD, Army, Navy, and Marine Air Forces will continue to track and guard Santa in his sleigh.
Whoa, they guard him
on his trip to and from the U.S. against possible attack from those who do not believe in Christmas.
Okay, so that feels a little wrong to say.
Well, this was in 1955.
Yeah.
A Christmas Eve tradition was born, known as the NORAD Track Santa program. Every year on Christmas Eve, NORAD Track Santa purports to track Santa Claus as he leaves the North Pole and delivers presents to children around the world.
There you go. They protect Santa. So I was wrong. They protect Santa.
They protect Santa from people who hate Christmas.
Yeah, I guess they just monitor the airspace. That's why they haven't done anything. That means it's all good.
Yeah, they're monitoring.
Yeah. Well, in this case, they don't monitor well enough, and this girl gets killed by a rock.
I'll be honest, they probably do stuff, and we probably don't want to know about it.
You're right. You're right. That'd be mass paranoia and panic. Too much paranoias, in fact, but we'll get to that.
Anyway.
This girl gets hit by space junk. NORAD failed. It smashed my baby's head, and now my Sally's dead. Space junk. I hope I never get smashed by space junk. What an interesting track. It doesn't feel very devolved. Honestly, it feels futuristic. The concept of just stuff falling from space, right? Talking about Sputnik and satellites and stuff.
So stuff being broken, no longer functioning.
Oh, okay.
That stuff has devolved back into pieces.
Useless. Yeah, it's not space tools anymore. It's just junk. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's junk. It's devolved back into the junk it started as.
Wow. The NORAD Santa tracker's not junk. Keep that alive.
Apparently it relies on volunteers now.
I want to volunteer to track Santa. I gotta know. How do they know what he's up to? Really, they've just got an Apple AirTag on him, probably. Up next is one of the bigger Devo hits that you'll find on this album, Mongoloid.
Yeah.
It's the band's debut single, came out in 1977. The term Mongoloid itself has some rather problematic and outdated definitions.
Yeah, it sure does.
Did you look it up?
Didn't need to.
Oh, you knew it?
Yeah.
Oh, I honestly hadn't heard it prior to this album.
Yeah, well, you also hadn't heard of NORAD, so.
That's a great point. Yeah, no, Mongoloid is a word that we've phased out for the better.
Yeah.
It is like old-timey bad slang for a person who has like Down syndrome. And the point of the song, it's not to make fun of people like that.
It has multiple offensive. Not only is it that, but it's also just an offensive term for somebody from like Asia.
Right, but that's way older and way, yeah.
Sure. And just say both are considered offensive, derogatory terms. It's just not very often you find a word that has more than one outdated offensive meaning.
Yeah.
Usually it gets outdated and offensive once and you just retire it altogether. It doesn't get a comeback.
No. Comeback. Oh, this one had one. Yeah. Well, this song, it's not a critique of the person, the song's protagonist. It's a critique of the society around them, that it's devolved to a point where someone with like similar handicaps can function just fine because the rest of society is at or below that level.
Yeah.
Yeah, society has de-evolved. It's a prime example of their de-evolution concept as far as lyrics go. And melodically, it does certainly hold up as one of the most memorable kind of hooks on this album, I think. The music video is also supposed to be really cool in theory. It's one of the first to be done as a collage by artist Bruce Conner. It is, no joke, almost impossible to find. I scoured the internet, not just YouTube. I scoured far reaches of the internet to find this collage music video, and I could not find any trace of it.
Oh, wow.
But he used clips from ads and from sci-fi movies and stuff to tell the story. And Devo called the music video a documentary film exploring the manner in which a determined young man overcame a basic mental defect and became a useful member of society. They said insightful editing techniques reveal the dreams, ideals, and problems that face a large segment of the American male population. Very educational. Background music written and performed by the Devo Orchestra.
It's a good song.
Yeah. It just shows its age a little bit.
It really shows its age.
Any song that uses an outdated and offensive term twice over probably shows its age, but one that's titled after it and themed around it exclusively, like...
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting pair of songs here, though. I think the middle of the album is its most iconic kind of part, because then we get out of Mongoloid and into Jocko Homo. It was the B-side to Mongoloid. They came out together. And Jocko Homo hit number 62 on the UK singles chart. It is a semi-title track, right? The title itself comes from a 1924 anti-evolution booklet called Jocko Homo Heaven Bound. Jocko Homo it's a monkey man. It's a pamphlet all about how evolution is foolish. And that, 1924 when it's coming out is around the time of like the Scopes monkey trial. Evolution is a hot topic in schools and in churches when this pamphlet's written. And so Devo kind of employs that concept to talk about how we are de-evolving, obviously hand in hand with the concept of evolution, and evolution being foolish, de-evolution being unfoolish, which is their whole shtick, satirical shtick.
That's close to a title track, I guess.
Yeah, the song does a chant. Are we not men? We are Devo. Are we not men? DEVO. It's an allusion to the 1932 movie Island of Lost Souls. Have you seen Island of Lost Souls? You're a movie guy.
I don't think so. It sounds familiar, though.
I watched a clip of it, and basically the premise is there's an island, and this scientist kind of converts the creatures on the island into humanoid, like half human, half
oid.
Yeah, animal creatures. He's teaching them how to behave. They're Jocko Homo, they're monkey men. And there's a point in the movie where they say, are we not men? They keep repeatedly saying, are we not men? Like, what are the laws that we live under? What are the social codes that we're going to abide by?
It's like that one philosopher who, took a chicken and was like, is this not man?
Well, yeah, you're right. I forgot about him. But it's like a way that they ground themselves and say, hey, we can do better than animals. Like, we can suppress the animal side of ourselves and become more like men. And so Devo uses it here to say, are we not men? And they say, the answer is we are Devo, which is essentially not yes. Cannot be overlooked that we are Devo is not answering affirmatively to the question, are we not men?
I just couldn't take the song seriously.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it's so beepy boopy. Rah, 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 rah.
No, because I am very familiar with the man, Jocko Willink. I don't know if you've heard of him.
I have not. I am very unfamiliar with the man.
He's a retired Navy SEAL who led SEAL Team 3, the team that the American sniper Chris Kyle was a point man on.
Whoa.
And after retiring from active duty, he's gone on to become a self-help and business consultant. I've actually read one of his books called Extreme Ownership.
Interesting.
And so he also has a podcast, a whole line of energy drinks and workout. So he's become a bit of a influencer since being the leader of SEAL Team 3 and Chris Kyle.
Milk it, why not?
Yeah. And so the entire time, every time, I just kept thinking about him.
Is he not a man?
Every single time. Some could argue he's more than a man. Look at this guy. He's like, am I not a man?
Well, it's funny. I guess you couldn't take the song seriously if you're thinking of him. I'd be a little concerned if you did take this song seriously, because it's a hard song to take seriously.
I take every song seriously. I take my job on this podcast seriously.
Naturally, as you should, I think. But man, so this version here of Jocko Homo is 3.5 minutes. The original recording is 7 minutes.
Ooh, that's too much.
7 minutes is too much?
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying 3.5 minutes is too much?
Can I say both?
You could say both.
I might want to say both.
Well, imagine this. Let's say you go see Devo in concert. Picture this.
I'm picturing it.
It's 1978, 79, 70 sometime.
Okay. The word Mongoloid is still in use.
It's still apparently okay. You go to this show. Devo starts playing Jocko Homo. You go, oh man, I love this song. 3.5 minutes might be too much, though. They play the song live for a full half hour. And they don't stop until the crowd literally fights them on it. Literally, like, starts yelling and booing and, like, makes them stop playing Jocko Homo. Mark Mothersbaugh said, "We just keep going. Are we not men? We are Devo," for like 25 minutes, directed at people in an aggressive enough manner that even the most peace-loving hippie wanted to throw fists. I can't imagine sitting through a half hour of "Are we not men? We are Devo."
Okay, but that's kind of legendary.
Yeah, it is. It is.
What a legendary, like, point to make.
Yeah. They force their audience to devolve. That's really interesting.
It's very interesting.
Wild. Well, then we get into a song that is kind of like a McDonald's anti-ad. Too much paranoias. Anti-commercialism, anti-consumerism. They're being attacked and bombarded with ads, and their attention's being grabbed by things all the time, and they're over it. It's too much. Big Macs.
That's why I pay for no ads.
You love ads. What are you talking about? You get targeted advertising and buy stuff from it all the time.
Yeah, too much. I
much.
get targeted by it. I get suckered into it. That's why I pay for no ads. I save myself more money in the long run.
That's true. You got a Big Mac attack. Hold the pickles, hold the lettuce. You're too much paranoias.
Whoa, no. Don't hold the pickles.
Save them for the pickle king and queen.
Same for the pickle king and queen. That's exactly what I was going to say. Don't let the pickle king find out you said hold the pickles.
It's so true, though. This song is so true in 1978, probably, and it's even more true today. Think about the amount of ads and attention-grabbing things that you see.
Let's say, if you thought 1970 was bad.
Ugh. Now it's everywhere. You can't turn your head. You can't pick up your phone without an ad, like, buzzing your pocket. It's really rough.
I mean, ads became so bad. There's a whole industry and, like, market of making money designed around helping people avoid ads with, like, ad blockers and other things like that.
That's true. But, man, how do you spread the word about an ad blocker? What do? You became the very thing you swore to destroy. Anyway, it's a song that sounds paranoid.
What's a bubble sack?
What is a bubble sack? Great question. I guess I'm going to Google that.
I was just trying to figure out, were these all references to things that you could, like, get that were being advertised for you to buy? Like a dial tone, you buy a custom dial tone and, you know, whatever. Were these all things that were being advertised around the time of this song? And if so, what is a bubble sack?
I don't know. I'm coming up with no thing here except for bubble eye goldfish that have sacks, fluid-filled sacks on them. Bubble sack.
When you Google the phrase Billy Baxter's bone, the first thing that pops up is genius lyrics for Devo, Too Much Paranoias.
They might just be making things up.
Billy Baxter is a poker player.
I think they're just making things up.
Dial tone, Billy Baxter's bone, bubble sack, and Big Mac attacks feel like four completely unrelated things, but yet also feel like four completely related things.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, sentiment.
Yeah.
It's like that game where you gotta, like, figure out the category. It's like they gives you a list of things and you gotta figure out the category of what they all have in common.
Yeah. This one, they're all in a Devo song.
Yeah.
They're all Too Much Paranoias.
Do you think these are all things you'd be paranoid about somehow?
If I had a bubble sack, I'd be paranoid.
Like, when you're gambling, you're paranoid, like, about what the other person's got.
I don't know.
If you get somebody's dial tone when you try to make a call, maybe you start to get worried.
I just think it's that constant input that's making them paranoid.
Yeah, I don't know.
The constant drone of people telling you to buy this, or you need that, or you won't be happy until you have this.
I'm so confused.
Exactly.
It's a short song.
It is.
Less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's the shortest song on this record, actually. And we follow it up with the longest, Gut Feeling, /
Slap Your Mammy.
Slap Your Mammy.
I just love the title.
I know, right? Gut Feeling feels like a sequel to Uncontrollable Urge. They never say what the gut feeling is. He's just kind of got a bad feeling about somebody rotten to the core that really gets his goat, makes him really want to clear his throat.
I just typed in Mammy, and I got this ad for Mammy Pancake.
See? Ads. Slapper.
This is apparently a Mammy Pancake here. This is interesting.
Oh, that's a bubble sack. What?
Yeah, right? Apparently you can get it in Hong Kong.
Huh. Brilliant. So much of Gut Feeling is just an instrumental. We don't get any lyrics until 2 minutes in, longer than the last song. You can fit the entirety of Too Much Paranoias into Gut Feeling before you hit any lyrics.
Interesting.
Which part of the song do you think is better? The beginning instrumental part, the gut feeling kind of section, or the part where we go slap your mammy down really fast? Slap your mammy, slap your pappy as fast and as frantically as we could possibly get it out there.
I think the funniest is the slap your mammy down, slap your pappy down again.
Oh, certainly.
Because that implies that you already slapped pappy once.
Gotta get him another time.
You started with Pappy, then you moved on to Mammy, and then Pappy got back up, and you had to teach Pappy a lesson again.
That's true, but he doesn't even get a shout out in the title.
No, he doesn't. It's definitely the beginning, though, is the best. That beat at the beginning, that instrumental at the beginning is very fun.
Yeah, it would feel at home on an album that's not Devo.
Yeah, it would. I'll be honest, I had a bit of a whiplash moment with the next track.
Yeah, Come Back Jonee.
Yeah, well, when I first saw it, my brain read it Come Back Jonee.
Really?
Yeah, well, and then I was like, that can't be right. It's probably not Jonee. That's probably me being an idiot. It's probably like Joan or something like that. And then I hit play and it was like, Come Back Jonee. And I was like, I was right?
Yeah, it looks like it could easily be Jonee or Jonee.
Yeah.
But it is sure Come Back Jonee. It is, Johnny Be Good, a reference to Chuck Berry and his song, Johnny with an H, Be Good. You'll notice that this Johnny buys a guitar, just like Chuck Berry's, and he tries to get famous with it.
Oh, tries.
Mm-hmm. Chuck Berry's Johnny does get famous. Devo's Johnny sure does not. He actually just dies in a semi-truck collision.
Well, I mean, look at his name. He wasn't going to get famous. Semi or not.
Well, he didn't have to die. Come Back Johnny takes on a really dark tone.
It really does.
When you consider that they're saying come back because he's obliterated on the freeway somewhere.
Yeah.
And they use it in different ways, right? They start with come back. She'll love you. You made her cry. Come back to this relationship. But he left the relationship to go be big and be a superstar.
Uh-huh.
And he drives out on the expressway and then dies.
It's one of those ones that the meaning of it changes, and it's great.
Yeah, you're going to make her sad. And boy, he sure does.
His guitar is all that's left now.
Brutal.
Very brutal.
How do you feel about this end part where they just chant Johnny, Johnny all the time and put the emphasis on it? Kind of funny.
Yeah, they go like, Johnny, Johnny.
Yeah, like emphasis on the knee.
It's the only body part they can find to bury.
Dang, they buried a knee in a guitar. That's the end of him. It's an interesting song. It's featured in the Ramones film Rock and Roll High School, which is cool. Another moment where who would expect Devo music to be featured in a film ever?
Yeah.
Some of it, but some big names here. The Ramones and Scorsese and all of it.
Wild stuff.
I know, right? The next song's a weird one. No sugarcoating it. It's called Sloppy.
Sloppy.
I saw my baby Gettin.
Saw my baby getting sloppy. She a mess.
That's what it's called.
She needs a maid.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. But she can't get a maid. She spent all her money on a brand new car. But it didn't get her very far.
And so she just said sloppy.
Yeah, she does say it a lot. And a lot and a lot.
And then I think I missed the whole. Sloppy, 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 sloppy.
Maybe that's a reference to the golf on the cover, Maybe it's not anything but that.
I want to know what they changed these lyrics to for Devo 2.0.
I don't think this one made it to Devo 2.0. This is one of the songs specifically that made me think Devo 2.0 was a spin. It's just another song, satirical devolution of relationships.
I do like the fake out.
Lots of fake outs.
I mean, it's less of a fake out when I can see the timestamp, but like if I was listening to this on a record or something or on the radio,
it would feel like it goes on forever.
And then it starts writing down, you're like, oh, it's over. Then all of a sudden, just really fast, it picks back up. She said sloppy,
yeah.
But it gets like higher pitched.
That's true. The timestamp kind of ruins the surprise element.
Yeah, I'll be honest. This song made me think that Devo would be really good at yodeling.
Oh, yodeling is an interesting idea. Maybe they would. I don't know if Devo's done any yodels. I'll have to look into it.
Specifically, the moment that really made me think yodel is around 150.
Yeah, that's true. Where sloppy down to, I think.
The way he slides around.
Yeah.
And it just gave me yodel vibes.
Well, if you like those yodel vibes, I think you'll have some more in store in the near future. We'll get to that in the near future.
Oh, I thought you were somehow transitioning to the next song. I was like, where's this going?
No, first, before we get to anything else, we got to shrivel up.
Yeah, it's cold.
Yes, it happens. Last song on the album, Shrivel-Up, De-Evolving.
Like a shrimp.
Shrivel up like a shrimp? Do shrimp shrivel?
I mean, feels like they should.
Should shrimp shrivel?
Shrimp should shrivel.
Shrimp should shrivel while share shoot shoe cannons. Well, this is an interesting song. They kind of go against, again, satirically, very, very much in the vein that they've been doing the whole time, against de-evolution. It's a God-given fact that you can't go back. But of course you could go back. You can always de-evolve.
But then you can't go back.
Oh, you can't go back to evolved.
Yeah.
That's double negative. I don't know about that. Wow.
You can't devolve back into being evolved.
But you're running out of sap.
I'll never run out of sap.
Then you better take the rap. We get a different vocalist on this one, different vibes than the general Mother's Ball yelping.
I was gonna say, yeah, like what's going on here?
It's kind of eerie, right? Those little guitar walk-ups, do-do-do-do-do-do. Like, it feels unsettling. This song feels really strange. It's like uncomfortable to listen to.
You're uncomfortable to listen to.
Well, that's
Got him.
unfortunate for this podcast, I guess.
Yeah.
You got a pooty poot poo.
I do not care for Shrivel-Up.
Really?
This one could not end fast enough for me.
Yeah.
I was not a fan.
What a way to end the album, though. I think you're supposed to leave unsettled, uncomfortable, and ready to get it over with.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if that's the vibe they were going for, mission accomplished.
Yeah, and they nailed it.
Shall we, final spin?
I think we should. We should final spin. Got an uncontrollable urge to spin finally.
We need the final spin before this episode devolves into, well, I don't even want to stick around to find out what it might devolve into.
I was worried that we were already headed there with the pancake thing, but we got out of it. We made it.
Hey, that was interesting, all right?
Oh, for sure. Well, for me, interesting album. So fun to discover, and I like Devo a lot more after doing this episode and learning the history behind them and the satire behind them. Just the whole 9 yards. I think Devo as a concept is really intriguing. Really interesting niche of a band as they kind of progressed music in the late 70s and early 80s. I'm giving the music on Are We Not Men, We Are Devo an 84. Yeah, there's not much to be said for like vocal melodies, but again, the composition of each of these tracks and the way that they keep you engaged is through the music and the instruments, kind of bebopping around and being unconventional. It's really well done, even if it comes across in a package that's really disorienting to listen to sometimes. Given the lyrics in 82, satire's fun. There's a lot of repetition on this album. A lot in every song. They repeat main ideas and hooks and lines and baby, 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 baby. Like, a lot of repetition happens. But I think the lyrics that are here are really interesting. They do a good job at satire. It's always hard to judge, like, satirical and concept lyrics on some level. But in 82 is where I think they land. 84 for the instruments and the production. You get all those cool sounds, like on Praying Hands and Jocko Homo. Like, there's a lot of interesting production stuff going on here. The instrumentals on Gut Feeling are really cool. The uncanny uncomfortableness of Shrivel-Up. I mean, what a production decision. And the iconic vocals. You know, you can't... They're incomparable. I don't think there's really much to compare them to prior to this point. So 84 there. 87 for the overall vibe. It's an album with an interesting impact. It's a cool launch of a band that would go on to, you know, do so much that you'd never expect. It's cool to hear pre-Whip It Devo. Anyway, my overall score for Are We Not Men, We Are Devo is 85. Puts it at number 372. Above Ariana Grande and Thank You Next. Below Bob Dylan, Highway 61 Revisited. I think, honestly, that's a surprisingly strong score for this album. I was not expecting it to perform that way when I first picked it up.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising for me too.
Yeah. Where did you land on Devo? I could see this going literally anywhere on your scores.
I think we got our first 10.
Wow!
Kidding.
That is a place that I really honestly could not see it going. I guess I just lied.
I think Devo as a concept is really fascinating.
Yeah.
I think in practicality, it's a little rough. It leaves a little to be desired.
What do you desire from them?
I don't know, music.
Okay, fair enough.
No, I think instrumentally, they play with instrumentation and like the musicality of their songs in a really fun and interesting way. I just don't think that translates to their lyrics. I get they're trying to be devolved and kind of stream of consciousness with their lyrics. And as I said, as a concept, cool. As somebody who's like, I'm in the mood for some music. What should I put on?
It's not this.
This isn't what I'm going to put on.
It's never this. No.
It's never this, which is fine. You know, art all has its own niche and meaning and use, right? Not everything has to be for just mass consumption. I get all that. Just saying, if you want me to score an album, how much I want to listen to it is probably going to play a factor, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
My score and my fascination with the album do not line up.
Yeah, I get that.
In terms of a score, this is gonna get 3 NORADs out of 10.
Wow. Yeah, I kind of thought this would end up on the lower end of things that you've scored. Just because I know you. I know how you reacted to Radiohead, and this is in the same sort of experimentally art rocky kind of boat.
Part of me wants to give this a 2.
Really?
Simply for the pun of Dev 2.0.
Oh, no. They've done it to themselves.
But no, I truly believe actually this deserves a 3.
That's only your second 3 ever.
which is kind of crazy. I mean, you don't bring a lot of bad stuff. I mean, people don't want to come listen to a podcast about just awful albums every week, right? So
I try not to.
we do them, but we can't like just exclusively do those. So I understand us being weighted towards the higher scores typically. But this is one that's getting a 3, and it's going to be at the bottom of the 3s, below the Monkees.
Wow. Making this your 5th lowest scored album ever.
The Jocko Homos, you know.
The Monkey Men and the Monkees. Wow. What a coincidence, actually.
And the Jocko Homo are, you know, devolved monkeys.
Whoa. Yeah. It all makes sense, weirdly enough.
All makes sense.
So that's, your 5th lowest scoring album of all time to this point.
You're welcome, Monkees and Janis Joplin. You're out of the bottom 5.
Getting a boost.
It's not very often that Janis Joplin gets a boost. As for my top 3.
Yeah.
In album order, and I think I only get a no honorable mention. Did I take something extra during share?
That is correct. You did take extra during share, and you get no honorable mention.
That's what I thought. So in album order, Uncontrollable Urge.
Yeah.
Don't know what the urge is, but it's uncontrollable.
Yeah.
It's so uncontrollable that I can't get no satisfaction.
Really? You liked weird, uncanny satisfaction enough for your top 3?
It wasn't uncanny for me because it was like basically a unique song.
That's true. So different.
To me because of how different it was.
And it was very funky. That bass hook was really grooving.
It was very funky. And then I'm torn.
Yeah, you only got one left.
It's times like this.
You're about to reveal it. No.
What?
I thought you were about to say something that gave away what your honorable mention would be.
Oh.
Just the way you said
No.
it. It's times like this, like you teed it up like you were doing a bit.
No, it's times like this that I wish I could just take less and bank them for the future.
Yikes. Oh, wow.
I'd be perfectly content with just taking those 2.
I mean, you certainly could. Not bank them, but you could just take 2.
Yeah. It's times like this that I wish, I'd either taken, if I had known it was going to be like this, I would have taken another one from Cher.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll let you retroactively do that.
No.
One episode late.
No. I will pick a third from Devo. Give it its full proper 3.
Wow.
I'm going to take Space Junk.
Whoa.
That's my third one.
Interesting pick.
Because it's space funk.
That's a surprising one. A sleeper pick.
Well, there you have it.
I can't believe you didn't take, like, the instrumental of Gut Feeling.
Yeah, I thought about it. Because that instrumental is really cool, but I'm taking the whole song, and it devolves into something I didn't want to pick.
Too much slapping of the Mammy.
Yeah, I respect my Mammy too much to slap her.
Oh, that's a good gut feeling to have. Well, what of those do you want on the playlist, really?
I don't know, I'll take Uncontrollable Urge.
Oh, we've got an Uncontrollable Urge.
That way you can take whatever you really liked from this album. I could have taken I Can't Get No Satisfaction to try to pigeonhole you into Uncontrollable Urge.
Wow.
I won't do that. I do think Uncontrollable Urge is the best song on the album, so I'll take it.
I would agree with that. I just think, it's tough because Jocko Homo is kind of everything that this album is about. Mongoloid is similar, but again, a little bit much.
Yeah.
If you take Uncontrollable Urge, I guess I'd almost lean towards Gut Feeling myself. So we get a little bit of that rock edge and still a little bit of de-evolution.
I think that'll do it.
Awesome. Well, rock on. That was another episode. If you want more Spin It, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. And of course on social media, at SpinItPodOfficial on Instagram, at SpinItPod on X, and on our website, www.spinitpod.com. Hope that's not too much paranoias for you. But if it's not, we don't really advertise ourselves. So could spread the word.
It would be nice. Honestly, if you want to spread the word, maybe spread the word at the next bat mitzvah you attend.
Oh, that's good. I think that word's going to spread a lot slower than the usual tell a friends.
I'll be honest, I've had a lot of weird tell a friends that this probably has just as equally a chance of spreading as some of my other ones.
Well, that's true. You got a good point. We will see you next week. It'll be a blast. And until then, I don't know about you, but I've got an uncontrollable urge to keep spinning. I'm really glad that we don't have to follow the tenets of de-evolution as a podcast. If we went back to like some of the early episode days,
dude, there's some rough stuff.
It's us trying to record like it's live and we're never going to edit it. It's you clicking a mouse 100 times and playing with the tape measurer out loud. We've just gotten a lot better about finding info. Recording quality's gone up. Episode content has gotten more engaging. I think it's been a blast.
Yeah, I mean, if you'd like to devolve, here.
No!